Spinal needles are usually 3.5 to 5 inches long and are broadly divided into sharp tip and blunt tip needles. Sharp tip needles are also known as dura cutting, and blunt tip needles are also known as dura separating. Examples of sharp tip needles include Quinckeys, Pitkins, Greens, and Atrocan, while that of the blunt tip needles include Whittaker's, Sprout, and Eldor's. Sharp tip needles are beveled tips with cutting edges. So they cut the longitudinally aligned dura fibers, producing U-shaped or a V-shaped puncture. These sharp tip needles cause more CSF loss, which in turn will cause PDPH. The blunt tip needles are similar to pencil point tips. They produce irregular tear on the dura, and the aperture is on the side of the shaft, and they require more force to insert. They are less likely to cause PDPH, and they produce less amount of tissue coring. As you can see here in this picture, Whittaker's needle, that is the prototype for blunt tip needles, looks like a pencil tip, and the aperture is on the side of the shaft. There is no sharp edges that would cut the fibers of the dura, and the aperture or the orifice is 2.5 millimeter proximal to the tip. It is a small opening, making aspiration of the CSF or injection of the drug more difficult. Quinckeys needle, that is the prototype for the sharp tip needles, on the other hand has a sharp medium length beveled hollow needle with an injection. The needle causes more CSF loss, increasing the chance of PDPH. However, since the needle is cheap, it is still used in many parts of the world. One more point of interest with the use of pencil point needle, that is blunt tip needles, is that as the orifice is on the side of the shaft, part of the orifice may be inside the subarachnoid space, and yet the proximal part of the orifice within the epidural space. In such cases, we will still see CSF coming out, but when we give local anesthetics, part of it will go inside the subarachnoid space, yet some part of the drugs being inside the epidural space, producing a partial or even failed block.